Game 4s of the NBA playoffs. So let's just get back into it. First game I'm going to talk about, Nets at Bucks, Game 4. Nets 96, Bucks 107. Series is now tied 2-2. My prediction of Brooklyn at 5 is out the window. Didn't quite work out that way.
What happened?
It was the story of the game.
Oh, there's a story. Story time.
Kyrie Irving got hurt.
Aww.
He went out in the second quarter, very bad sprained ankle. Ankle turned all the way over.
Ooh,
He
child.
landed on the Greek Freak's foot, and his ankle went the wrong way. And he had to limp off the court more or less. That happened in the second quarter. So KD was basically out there by himself. Obviously, no James Harden because he's been out with the hamstring. So it was KD and a bunch of role players more or less. So he had to go off, had 28 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. But that's pretty much all they got. It was a total team effort by the Milwaukee Bucks. Greek Freak, 34 points, 12 rebounds. Drew Holiday, 14 points, 9 assists. Chris Middleton, 19 points, 8 assists. And the unsung hero of the game was PJ Tucker. 13 points, 7 rebounds. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot for him.
Okay.
Because he's known as a defender. He doesn't really score a lot of points, but 13 points is the most points he scored in this series. 7 rebounds was also good for him.
It's a good number for a defender.
Yeah, he's a defender. But he chipped in 13 points, had some big three-pointers. And the most important thing that he did was he did a great job against KD. I've never seen KD defended that well.
Wow.
KD scored 28, but it was a hard 28. And KD thought he was getting fouled on almost every play. And it was just really tough defense from PJ Tucker. And that was really the story. Kyrie's still out. Looks like he's going to be out. I don't know if he's going to be back in the series. But he left the arena in a walking boot.
Oof.
And on crutches.
Wow.
That's not a very good sign.
Not at
It
all.
clearly was a badly sprained ankle. So health is going to be a factor going forward in this series. The news that just came out is that James Harden is going to try to play tonight. I don't think that's going to happen, but apparently he's going to warm up before the game
Okay.
and see if his hamstring can loosen up. He may play. I just don't see it happening, but that's the news that's just recently coming out is that he may play.
Okay.
But I have a feeling it's going to be KD out there with the other role players. And if it's KD out there alone without Harden, it's definitely going to be without Kyrie. But if he's out there without Harden, he's probably going to have to go for about 40 points to win this game. I think Milwaukee's probably going to win tonight. But we shall see. Again, my prediction is off. Brooklyn at 5 is out of the window. That can't happen at this point.
New prediction?
New prediction. If James Harden can come back, I think Brooklyn can still do it in 7. But if James Harden does not come back, I don't see Kyrie coming back in this series. But if neither one of them can come back, I don't think KD can do everything by himself. He's not going to be able to score and be able to run the offense. Kyrie and James Harden, they're known for running the offense, especially James Harden. And if they can't run the offense, they don't really have that many other players on the team that can really run the offense consistently. I think they're asking KD to do too much if that's going to be the case. I don't see them winning the series if it's just KD without his other 2 stars. I feel like it's too much to ask him to do. I feel like if that's the case, Milwaukee probably would take it in 6 or 7, to be honest. Moving on, we have Phoenix at Denver. Phoenix scored 125, Denver scored 118. The story of that game is the Joker got ejected.
Mm.
That's a touchy one.
Have you calmed down?
I've calmed down because I was hot that he got
Very hot
ejected.
the
I'm
other
not
night.
even a Denver Nuggets fan, but I like the Joker. I'm a Joker fan. And I felt like he shouldn't have been ejected. I felt like well, what happened is he ended up hitting somebody in the face, Cameron Payne. He was going for the ball. Cameron Payne had the ball in his hands. Joker, if you see the play, Joker actually hits the ball out of his hands. He ends up hitting Cameron Payne in the nose as well. And the refs thought that warranted an ejection.
A flagrant
A
two.
flagrant
if I'm
two.
not
A
mistaken.
flagrant two was the call. Flagrant two is an automatic ejection. I felt like he should have got a flagrant one, which is basically one foul, and if you do it again, then you're automatically ejected. If you get two flagrants in a game, that's automatic ejection. Flagrant one, you can get a flagrant one and stay in the game. I thought he should have gotten a flagrant one and been able to stay in the game. The Suns actually end up sweeping the Nuggets in that game. I don't think the Nuggets would have went on to win the series. They might have went on to win the game though, and they would have been able to extend the series. And they weren't able to do that. They didn't get the opportunity to do that. And I think once Joker was out of the game, I didn't think they had a shot at all. You know, it was a hard time for them even competing in the series with the Joker. But without him, it just wasn't going to happen. But big shout out to Will Barton, who played very well in that game. He had 25 points. At the end of the day, Phoenix just looked like a better team. So, yes, Joker got ejected. I wasn't happy about that. I thought that the refs could have done a better job with that.
And that's an understatement.
And yeah, that's just I was just I'm gonna be honest. I was tight. I was real hot
You
because
were
I
real
just
hot.
it's the playoffs. I don't like when the refs decide the games. It's the playoffs. Let the players decide that. Joker shouldn't have been ejected. You know, it was a hard foul. I'll say that it was a hard foul. Cameron Payne did nothing wrong on the play. He's the one that got hit. He was hurt. I felt bad for him. But at the same time, Joker's not known to be a dirty player. That's just not him. He was playing hard.
So it wasn't intentional.
It wasn't an intentional foul.
And
It
he
wasn't-
did come
and he
apologize
came
to
back.
Payne.
Yeah. In fairness to him, he came back and he apologized to Cameron Payne. The Joker is not known for anything like that. It's just not in him.
And by that you mean dirty.
He's not a dirty player. The Joker's not a dirty player. He's just not that type of guy. And I think most players in the NBA know that. He's not a dirty guy. I just thought he should have been able to finish the game. Win or lose, he should have been able to finish the game. And that's my stance on it. There's other people that feel differently, but it's just in the heat of the moment, things happen. He wasn't going after the guy. Well, they weren't fighting. I understand if they were fighting. Yeah, you eject both players if they're fighting. But he was making a play on the ball, and it just, you know, unfortunately, Cameron Payne got hit in the nose. But back to Phoenix. Phoenix, they deserve props. I'm not going to talk the whole time about Nikola Jokic. But Chris Paul, 36-year-old Chris Paul, was phenomenal in the game. 37 points, 7 assists. He looked like Chris Paul from 10 years ago.
Wow.
He was amazing. Devin Booker, 34 points, 11 rebounds. Their other star, amazing. You know, and they controlled the game. Those two guys controlled the game. And they played great defense. You know, and that's what won them the series. You know, their star players played big, and their role players played very well. And that pretty much won them the series. Will Barton, 25 points, like I said, he had 5 rebounds. The Joker, 22 points, 11 rebounds before he got ejected. Michael Porter Jr., 20 points. So Denver played well. You know, they just didn't play the type of defense that they needed to play to slow down Phoenix. And that was the story of that series. Phoenix ends up with the sweep. Phoenix has been healthy, and for the most part, and I just, to be honest, they look like the best team in the playoffs right now. They look like they can really go all the way to me right now.
Wow. Okay.
They look really good. My prediction was off in that one too. I had the Suns winning, so I wasn't wrong on that part. But I had the Suns winning in 6. they obviously won it 4. But yeah, my predictions have been pretty bad so far. But I'm okay with it. It happens. I'm all right with it. Moving on to the next series. It was the 76ers at Atlanta Hawks. Philly 76ers scored 100. Atlanta Hawks had 103. So very close game. It was a very good game. Very, very good game. Series is now tied 2-2.
Oh my.
Game 4. My prediction is still Philly in 7. And that still has a chance to happen.
Okay.
So I'm still alive with this prediction.
I see you smiling and everything.
I'm still alive with Philly in 7. So you know what? That's a good thing.
We don't see you smile very often.
You don't see me smile often, but listen, this is one of the few series I might actually get right.
Okay.
Big game again from Trae Young. 25 points, 18 assists. Bogdanovich, 22 points, 5 rebounds for the Atlanta Hawks. Philly had an opportunity to win this game. Joel Embiid is really hurt. He's really hurt. He's been playing with a partially torn meniscus in his knee. And
that sounds painful.
yeah, and he's been playing hurt. And he's been playing well with it, but I think it's catching up to him right now. He had 17 points and 21 rebounds. Most of that was in the first half. The second half, he didn't look like the same player when he came out. I think that injury is really nagging him. Ben Simmons basically didn't score enough. His other star is hurting. Joel Embiid is clearly hurting. Ben Simmons is the other star on that team. He needs to do more. He had 11 points, had 12 rebounds, had 9 assists.
11.
Yeah, he had 11 points. Like, that's the thing. The 12 rebounds is fine, the 9 assists are fine.
Right.
11 points,
Not fine.
that's not fine. That's not fine. If you know your counterpart is hurting, you got to step up. You got to step. 11 points is just not going to work. You know, he's got to do more. Tobias Harris, I think, scored 20 points in that game. But even him, he needs to do more. He's one of the scorers on that team. Tobias Harris needs to step up. He needs to be closer to 30 points a game. Being an Embiid is hurting. Those guys need to step up. You know, and it'd be interesting to see if they do that. But the Hawks are real. Hawks are real. They beat my Knicks. I thought my Knicks were going to beat them. But the Hawks are real. I got to go back to it because that's my team. Listen, I'm going to be honest.
I mean, can we let that go?
We cannot let that go.
We got to
But
let it go at this point.
hey, listen.
Let's just let it go.
I'll let it go when the next season starts again.
Let's just let that go.
That's a hard one for me.
Man.
But yeah, listen, I don't even feel that bad anymore because the Hawks, they're real.
They bowling.
They played better than the Knicks and they deserve to win that series against the Knicks.
Okay, you know we're
now we're talking about the 76ers and the Hawks.
Over.
All right, it's okay though. That's okay. I'm still a little hurt by it.
I see.
Still a little hurt by it, but
at least you can smile about it.
But I can smile about it at this point. But yeah, the 76ers have to do more to help Joel Embiid, and the Hawks, they're scary. They're scary. They're a scary team. I don't think anybody really wants to play them right now. They're playing very well. Okay, moving on. We have the Jazz at the Clippers, game 4. Jazz 104, Clippers 118. Series is now tied 2-2. The story of that game is the Clippers dominated. They dominated. They came out in the first half and they just took over. It basically comes down to 2 stars versus 1. You have Paul George and you have Kawhi Leonard, basically against Donovan Mitchell. And that's what it's coming down to, it seems. Kawhi Leonard had 31.7 rebounds. Paul George, 31 points, 9 rebounds. You also had a big contribution from Marcus Morris Sr., 24 points, 6 rebounds. Their offense just couldn't be contained. You know, the Jazz, they have good defenders on their team, but they just could not slow down the Clippers in that game. Donovan Mitchell had 37 points, which is a lot of points. He scored a lot, but he shot a bad percentage, and he had to work hard for every shot that he got. They really put the clamps on him on defense. And his ankle, I think he has a bad ankle. He's not leading on to that. He's not saying it, but His ankle got hurt earlier in the series. He's saying he's okay, but I think his ankle's sore. At the very least, I think it's sore. You know, and he's a trooper. He's gonna play on it, but I think he's hampered a little bit. That might hurt them in this series if his ankle doesn't heal. But we shall see. Joe Ingles had 19 points in that game for the Jazz, and Bojan Bogdanovic had 18 points. But again, the problem for them was their defense. Their defense couldn't stop the Clips. My prediction in that series is Jazz in 7. Still can happen. So that's a good thing. But I'm doubtful about it because health. Health is a factor for the Jazz. Like I said, Donovan Mitchell has the bad ankle, I believe. And Michael Conley is still out. He's their starting point guard, and he hasn't played in this series at all. And they're not saying when he's coming back. He has a hamstring injury, and those injuries can be very tricky. So there's no telling if he's even going to come back in the series. But they're missing him, and it's starting to show. Donovan Mitchell, he just has to do too much. So overall, I think injuries are starting to become a factor in the playoffs in general. And they very well can determine the outcome of these series going forward.
Sure, they can cause the series to pivot.
Yeah. That's all I got today, people.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, well, good chatting it up with you today.
All right.
Look forward to hearing from you next time.
Yep.
Peace out.
Peace out.